An iron curtain has descended across the continent.
Coming.
Round number 2 of the World Middleweight Championship bout. Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh, hello there. How's it going? Welcome to the first Suitables Fireside Chat. I'm Steven, and I just wanted to hop on here and give you an update, straight from the shop, on what Suitables is, why I'm doing it, and where it's going. And if you're new here, this is a Suitable. It's a vintage mid-century suitcase turned into a real functional table. And if you stick to the end of today's chat, I'll tell you what's coming next for Suitables, because the next phase is where things start getting really interesting. And in case you're wondering, Fireside Chat, that's a Franklin D. Roosevelt reference. He used to do these calm radio updates that he dubbed his Fireside Chats during the Great Depression and into World War II, just speaking plainly to the people to keep them informed. Same idea here, except for it's me with a camera on a tripod in my workshop. Every now and then I'll do one of these to give you updates on what's getting built, what's changing, and what's coming next. And if you've been following since the reveal, you probably noticed I went a little quiet for some time. Nothing dramatic, just I've had my head down in the shop here. So let's get you caught up. Back in 2020, I was serving overseas in Sasebo, Japan for the Navy. That's when the pandemic hit, and the world, slowed down. I needed something to pour myself into. That's when I got into vinyl. Record stores, collecting, learning the gear, the whole ritual. And somewhere along the way, I saw one of those suitcase-style record players. And I thought to myself, I love that look. But I did not love the quality. So I had this idea. What if I use an actual vintage suitcase, like a real one, and built a proper table around it? I've always loved classic Americana. I grew up watching old films, and I grew to love the styles of those eras. But mid-century modern, it always stood out to me. Timeless materials like wood, glass, and brass, and sleek curves that borrowed from the great streamliner trains. It's thoughtful design, it's clean, and it feels like it was built with purpose. And that's what drew me to these suitcases. They were built in that era with that same design language. They're still beautiful today, but they have this really big problem. They've mostly lost their purpose. You can't really travel with them anymore, not like people used to. They're mostly relegated to storage, closets, garages, and maybe stacked as decor for a while. And I didn't want them to just sit there. I wanted to give them a second life if I could. Give them legs, literally. And one thing that I'm very intentional about is preserving the suitcase. Not just the exterior, but the interior too. Because honestly, in a lot of cases, it's the most stunning part. And I didn't want to hide that. I wanted you to be able to appreciate it. Now, a quick note about me, because I think it matters. I've always been the maker type. I've worked with my hands my entire life, and I've bounced between creative projects for as long as I can remember. Professionally, I've worn a lot of hats. Chef, contractor, and then 7.5 years in the Navy as a mass communication specialist, telling stories through video, photo, and radio. That mix is why I've had a shot at pulling this off. But I'm not going to pretend it's been easy. A lot of this has been problem solving in a tiny confined space, using off-the-shelf parts and then figuring out what had to be custom. and then how to make it all work. It's been a lot of trial, error, and refinement. And I'm not doing this alone anymore either. Chuck, he's my best friend and an important business partner in this. I actually met him while I was in Japan. He's a fellow mass communication specialist. We worked on creative projects my whole time out there. He's the kind of guy who rounds out the rough edges of my creative process. He brings structure, great ideas, and he pushes the project forward in a big way. And honestly, I owe a lot to close friends like him. People who gave encouragement, showed interest, and kept pushing me to go for it, turning what started as a personal project into something more. So here's what's coming next. I'm going to be opening up a small first run, only 10 of these tables. So if you're interested, send me a message. I'm not doing some big add to cart thing yet. This is still hands-on and personal. So I'll sit down with each of you one by one and talk to you about what you're looking for. And make sure that it's the right fit. Suitcases, finishes, options, all of that. And I do want to be clear. I won't be opening up general commissions for a while. But we got something really big planned for that. And we'll be sharing more about it in the coming months. And make sure you stay tuned, folks. We'll be having more of these fireside chats in the near future. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here since the beginning, thank you. Drop a comment and tell me where in your home you'd put your suitable. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Lastly, if you want to be considered for that first run, make sure you message me. Well, all right. That's it for this one, folks. I'll see you in the next fireside chat.